Module 5, Scrum Tools and Techniques. Scrum Tools and Techniques, Burn Down Charts, Kanban Boards, User Stories, Planning Poker. Scrum provides several tools and techniques that can be used to support the Scrum framework and the Agile development process. Here are some of the most commonly used Scrum tools and techniques. 1. Burn Down Charts. Burn Down charts are a visual representation of the progress of the sprint. The chart shows the remaining work on the vertical axis and time on the horizontal axis. The team updates the chart daily to track progress and identify any deviations from the plan. 2. Kanban Boards. Kanban boards are a visual tool used to manage the flow of work. The board typically has columns for each stage of the development process, such as to do, in progress, and done. The team can use Kanban boards to track work in real time, identify bottlenecks, and improve flow. 3. User Stories. User stories are a technique used to capture customer requirements. Each user story describes a single feature or functionality that the customer requires. User stories are written in simple, concise language and can be used to prioritize and estimate work. 4. Planning Poker. Planning poker is a technique used to estimate the effort required to complete a user story. Each team member estimates the effort required independently, and then the estimates are discussed as a group. This process encourages collaboration and ensures that everyone has a shared understanding of the task. 5. Retrospective Techniques. Retrospective techniques are used to reflect on the sprint and identify areas for improvement. Some common retrospective techniques include the start, stop, continue technique, where the team discusses what they should start doing, stop doing, and continue doing. Other techniques include the glad, sad, mad technique, where the team discusses what made them happy, sad, or angry during the sprint. These Scrum tools and techniques can be used individually or in combination to support the Agile development process. They provide the team with the necessary information to track progress, identify issues, and continuously improve their processes and practices. Estimating and prioritizing product backlog items. Estimating and prioritizing product backlog items is a crucial aspect of Agile product development. Here are some tips for effectively estimating and prioritizing product backlog items. 1. Use user stories. User stories are a valuable tool for breaking down customer requirements into manageable pieces of work. Each user story should focus on a single feature or functionality and provide a clear description of what the customer wants. By breaking down the requirements into user stories, the team can estimate and prioritize each story independently. 2. Use relative estimation. Relative estimation is a technique that compares the size and complexity of one user story to another. Instead of using absolute units of time or effort, the team uses a relative scale, such as small, medium, or large. This technique is useful because it is faster and more accurate than trying to estimate in absolute units. 3. Prioritize by value. The team should prioritize the product backlog based on the value that each user story provides to the customer. The product owner should work with stakeholders to determine the value of each user story and prioritize them accordingly. This ensures that the team is working on the most valuable features first. 4. Prioritize by risk. The team should also consider the risk associated with each user story. Some user stories may be riskier than others, and it may be better to work on those first to reduce overall project risk. 5. Collaborate with the team. The product owner should collaborate with the development team to estimate and prioritize user stories. The team should have a clear understanding of the requirements and the customer's needs to provide accurate estimates and prioritize effectively. 6. Refine the product backlog. The product owner should regularly refine the product backlog to ensure that it reflects the most up-to-date requirements and priorities. Refinement sessions should be held regularly to review the product backlog and make any necessary adjustments. In summary, estimating and prioritizing product backlog items is critical to the success of an Agile product development project. The team should use user stories, relative estimation, and prioritize by value and risk. Collaboration between the product owner and development team is essential, and the product backlog should be regularly refined to ensure that it reflects the most up-to-date requirements and priorities. Tracking and managing sprint progress. Tracking and managing sprint progress is a critical part of the Scrum framework. Here are some tips for effectively tracking and managing sprint progress. 1. Use a sprint backlog. The sprint backlog is a tool that helps the team track progress during the sprint. It contains a list of all the tasks that need to be completed to deliver the user stories selected for the sprint. The team should update the sprint backlog daily to track progress and identify any issues or risks. 2. Use a burn-down chart. A burn-down chart is a visual representation of the work remaining in the sprint. It shows how much work is left to be completed each day and whether the team is on track to complete the sprint on time. The team should update the burn-down chart daily to track progress and identify any deviations from the plan. 3. Hold daily stand-up meetings. The daily Scrum or stand-up meeting is a short meeting held every day to discuss progress and identify any issues or risks. Each team member should answer 3 questions. What did I do yesterday? What will I do today? Are there any obstacles in my way? The meeting should be brief and focused to ensure that everyone is up to date and any issues can be addressed quickly. 4. Use retrospectives to improve. After each sprint, the team should hold a sprint retrospective to reflect on the sprint and identify areas for improvement. The team should discuss what went well, what didn't go well, and what can be improved in the next sprint. The team should identify any issues or obstacles that need to be addressed to ensure that the next sprint is more successful. 5. Monitor progress against the definition of done. The definition of done is a set of criteria that must be met for a user story to be considered complete. The team should monitor progress against the definition of done to ensure that all user stories are completed to a high standard. This will help to avoid any last-minute surprises or delays at the end of the sprint. In summary, tracking and managing sprint progress is crucial to the success of the Scrum framework. The team should use a sprint backlog, burn-down chart, daily stand-up meetings, and retrospectives to ensure that they are on track to complete the sprint on time and to identify any issues or risks. Monitoring progress against the definition of done will ensure that all user stories are completed to a high standard. Implementing continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is an essential part of the Agile methodology and Scrum framework. Here are some tips for implementing continuous improvement in a Scrum team. 1. Conduct retrospectives regularly. Retrospectives are a key component of Scrum and provide an opportunity for the team to reflect on the previous sprint and identify areas for improvement. The team should hold retrospectives regularly, ideally after each sprint, to discuss what went well, what didn't go well, and what can be improved in the next sprint. 2. Experiment with different approaches. Scrum encourages teams to experiment with different approaches to improve their processes continually. For example, the team may try a new retrospective format, a different approach to estimating, or a new tool or technique. The team should be open to trying new approaches and evaluate their effectiveness. 3. Use data to drive improvement. Data can provide valuable insights into the team's performance and highlight areas for improvement. For example, the team may track their velocity, cycle time, or defect rate. The team should use this data to identify trends, measure improvement over time, and identify areas for improvement. 4. Foster a culture of continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is not just about implementing new processes or tools. It is also about fostering a culture of continuous improvement within the team. The team should encourage open communication, collaboration, and a willingness to learn from mistakes. The team should also celebrate successes and share best practices to encourage a culture of continuous improvement. 5. Involve the whole team. Continuous improvement is not just the responsibility of the Scrum Master or product owner. The whole team should be involved in identifying areas for improvement and implementing changes. By involving the whole team, the team can benefit from a diverse range of perspectives and ideas. In summary, implementing continuous improvement is essential to the success of a Scrum team. The team should conduct retrospectives regularly, experiment with different approaches, use data to drive improvement, foster a culture of continuous improvement, and involve the whole team in the process.